and they need to be able to play around one particular member, more so than in game number 1, where again all of the whole composition was basically countered already. Here it is, Baksha, Fredrin, Edith, 2 heroes that were picked up in game number 1, already banned out by GEEK. They're making some big changes.
They need it here, it seems like, right? And let's talk about the drafts here. Mathilda, Valentina, last time around they banned out the Angela. I feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They should still ban the Angela out here.
I think the Angela is just so, in a way, right? Depending on the composition, I do feel like it is, in some situations, better than the Mathilda. That's my personal opinion. Overall, Mathilda is a lot more flexible, which is why it's a lot more prio. But I don't... Whoa, it's let go! What? The Shadow Analyst has stated that Angeloy will be a guaranteed win.
Well, I think for RRQ, they're testing the waters here. We already have a 1-0 lead. If you lose on Angela, it's about to be 3-0, sir.
Exactly here. So if it ain't broke, still fix it. It seems like here will be the approach.
Make some repairs,
RRQ.
make some renovations.
Small adjustments, and there you go, GEEK fam. They will pick the Angela out here. Based on yesterday here, right? GEEK fam with the Angela, it was a win. Let's see how RRQ will play this out. What are they willing to trade that Angela for, Arashi?
When you talk about Angela, the most disgusting combos are the Irithel and the Yuzong, I was about to say. In yesterday's game against Dewa United, they used this exact combo. Yuzong Angela for the early game, Angela Irithel for the late game, and there was no solution. With the mobility, the sustain, the healing that the Angela provides, these heroes are just way too difficult to deal with. Without those heroes though, I do feel like GEEK fam most definitely have alternatives, but it's already a step in the right direction for RRQ. And I do wonder if the idea is to go for something completely different in game number 2 for Coach Zaya, because they know that GEEK are going to try and adapt, but towards game 1, not game 2.
Oh, brilliantly done, man, by RRQ. I really like this draft. The Yuzong, the Irithel, the instant deny to what is the best combination for the Angela. Literally just taking it away, robbing it out of GEEK fam, and they'll say it's fine. We'll have the football player and Martis, the hero we banned out in game number 1, to take these team fights victories in the early stage of the game. But RRQ can very easily just say, it kind of worked in game 1. It can work again in game 2. Sure, you have some anti-CC, but by heavy spin duration, yeah, it lasts longer. So good luck.
They need to pick it up here, though, right? Entering second phase, I feel like GEEK fam will be able to take that out, and there you go. As planned, as said as well, RRQ, they picked the Akai before taking stage 2. GEEK fam here, a very good balance here, I feel like, with the Marches and Bruno. Bruno activates in that mid-late. Marches very deadly after level 4 with that decimation on the board. So let's see here, with that stability, with that balance, will GEEK fam be able to perform better than they did in game 1? Stage 2, phase 2, RRQ, they should eye and target the mid laners here. A boy, it's gonna be a problem if not targeted. So I feel like a ban here. Novaria is still on the board that can be taken out by RRQ.
Well, it's gonna be the Ruby. Okay. Well, you talk about the Novaria, but right now, both these compositions don't really require that surprise factor. So Novaria isn't exactly prio, but GEEK fam thinks otherwise. I think that shows that they want to try and use something that can really hide in the shadows, right? Grab someone like out of nowhere. Exactly, man. So right now, the jungler is exposed, so the mid lane, is it going to be something like a Kadita, right? Ooh. Some kind of crowd control pickoff. And of course, along with that, the EXP lane. Already showing the Yuzong for RRQ. It's a signature pick, kind of, for Dyron, but GEEK fam now have the chance to try and wait on it and see what can they use to try and shut down this Black Dragon.
I would usually say the Kadita makes sense, but you're up against an Akai, you're up against a Purified Irithel. There's so much for RRQ to kind of counter that hero there, especially the Yuzong as well with the BDF. So for GEEK fam, I think they're in the tough spot right now. That's why they're banning out the mid laners. RRQ are going to be first pick in the second phase. They can very easily just pick up a big mid laner. The GEEK fam are setting up for And then GEEK will be left with the scraps. We saw that just previously in game number 1. Forced on a Lilia. Good wave clear, but against this composition that punishes melee or short-range heroes, they were able to fully capitalize on that. Raf is the answer for GEEK, taking it away for RRQ. And
Let's
now,
see here.
what do they pick, right? Do they pick a Yves, a Lilia, or something crazy like a Kagura? Signature
no.
for Lemon.
No way.
We haven't seen it in a long time.
It's possible.
Lilia here, I think, is the answer
Yeah.
for RRQ. The most sensible. And again, why? Because RRQ, they need that burst magic very, very dearly here.
Burst magic, I feel like they need team fight, right? It seems like it's the same game plan. Get strong laners, fight for the neutral objectives, and then use macro to deny any pickoffs from GEEK fam, essentially making Baloyski that much less useful. So I think AoE is required, but no, turns out it's gonna be Kaja instead.
So Lilia for a boy then.
Yeah,
Because
are they thinking that a boy is gonna be the one on the Lilia? Yeah.
I mean, it's still a possibility, right? At this point, sure, Angela can be flexed, but RRQ, they're letting the options for a boy here to be okay. They're very, very, they're very minimal. They have minimal bursts as well. They have a burst in March. So Lilia, and as well as, okay, Lapu. Not even.
And the Minotaur. All
It's
right,
Angela mid.
it's Angela mid, so it's a boy. It's not the Angeloi. Or maybe a boy goes on the Minnow. Not too sure about this, man. But for GEEK fam, they're really, really lacking that magic damage. Very easy to itemize against this composition, especially if RRQ gets ahead. GEEK fam, they're playing a very one-dimensional battle.
And look at their composition, they have amended the lack of crowd control. Now they have a lot of tools and a lot of AoEs to really duke it out in the neutral objective. The Black Dragon will be the main concern here, able to potentially zone everyone away. So for now, the last pick, it's a Sicilian for Lemon. What?
That is going to be the Sicilian here, ladies and gentlemen. A hero that scales very, very good with their comp. Oh my goodness.
Man, we're gonna
Going
draft
all
him
in
back.
GEEK here in the series does not matter. Let's see here. GEEK fam, can they go and equalize in the second game?
Not too sure about that, man. They don't really have a lot of dive threat. I personally think that RRQ have kind of outdrafted GEEK again. We saw that if in game number 1 with an outdraft, they weren't able to execute the right plan. Let's see if they can do it here. The GEEKs will have to dig deep. Deep as they can up against a composition as dynamic as this from RRQ.
Ladies and gentlemen, the stage has been set for game 2. It is going to be RRQ and GEEK. Will RRQ find the point for them to set as a match point, or will GEEK fam equalize in this game? A very tough composition to pull off, I feel like. But then again, yesterday, the tougher, the more complex composition, they win your games.
All right, we'll have to see, man. In the jungle, though, Nile is definitely on the clock right there. He needs to be aggressive. He needs to try and get a bit of a lead and then abuse that hard guard to try and get the best out of the situations. Deny Fersik his jungle, deny the laners a winning lane as well. Looking at the emblems here, it's a bit of the opposite story. RRQ, the ones with 3 agilities, trying to maneuver around the abundance of crowd control that GEEK fam have right here. Naomi is on the Kaja, so he will have a pickup advantage, but when it comes to team fights, so it's different. So I think RRQ, they're better before the neutral objective now, but also weaker during.
This is probably the first time, I don't know, aside from the Navaria, that Lemon will be using a damage mid laner, right? Not the Angela, not the Rafaela, the supportive mid laners that we've come to expect from him. What do you think about this, Arashi? I need to throw it over back to you again. This is your team.
It's very dangerous, very vulnerable, but with the current emblem setup, you actually have a lot easier time in the early game. You have a lot more sustainability. There are ways for you to be safer from these aggressive threats. So I think it can work, but it's definitely still a very slow process. So for now, it's on the side laners, the Irithel and the Yuzong, to try and get something that really works and maybe translate that to the early game team fight. that I think both teams are going to be very eager to participate in as the turtle spawns right here.
Yeah, 2 minutes here, no problem, no first bloods for both teams. They're just hovering over, looking for openings. And let's see here, again, Akai favors in that new. What will Nile do here with the help of the hard card?
Better rotation right now. Nile already using the Mortal Coil. The heavy spin pins him down despite the CC coming in. It's still going to be Versing who secures it, but Bernardo's Fury knocks him up. That's a first blood. 2 kills over to the Geeks. 2 for 1 kills for the Turtle.
They're going to overcommit this. Is this the right move here? Let's say Geek with 4 still in that purple, and it seems like the rotations, Akai will not be there in the time. So again, a trade worth it, but fun judgment, yeah. A trade worth it here as the purple buff will be taken away.
They lost 2 members right there, even though they get the turtle. I don't know how worth it that is, especially because Nile now is a bit more in the lead, AXP-wise, damage-wise. He's going for the Imperial Rage as well, by the way, so going for a bit more aggression, a bit more mana sustainability, I guess just in case. Versing needs to stay on the curve right here, because otherwise the main power of this Akai does fall off. And looking at the town's predictions, very similar to game number 1.
I think it's the same. Not too sure if it's exactly the same, Arashi, but yes, very, very similar indeed, but 2 different compositions. Geek fam, their emphasis isn't on the neutral objective, their emphasis is hard on these team fights.
And you can see here the pressure that RRQ gives. Voloisky.
Union's Fury used up. Nile bringing him back with a Mortal Coil, but first he pops in a heavy spin. Now Beloy going to be pinned down, brought back to the turret, flickers out to safety. Worldy ready. That's a hard guard and a dive. That's submission under the turret, but the Divine Judgment locks him down, and a boy gets caught in the crossfires. Has to flicker out, but that's another 2-man knockup. Chidera with a few good hits, only on to Naomi, who can get back that HP with a good Brave Smite emblem.
It's a good trade. A jungle for jungle. Geek fam, they overcommitted it, but it seems like they want more.
They want to overcommit even more up top.
Okay.
But they did get Chidera a few good hits on the turret. Remember, Arashi, Chidera's way to victory is matching Skylar.
And matching him and the advantage in the lanes, right? If he doesn't really fall back on gold, usually he still has a lot of presence in these big fights. With the turtle spawning already though, RRQ, they are just very quick to adjust right here, moving in. But Geek fam, if Beloisky can land a big minion Fury, that's dangerous. And a boy is the main target. He won't be caught just yet though.
They have a lot of CC to play with, and that's why Versing doesn't want to just jump in. They have a lot of healing. Bravest Fighter from Luke into the back right now, dealing quite a bit of damage. But anti-CC has been built up. Minus Fury coming down. Versing zoned away, and Nile has actually been given free space. It's only Beloy traded in, but it's not even then.
Oh my god.
Hardguard comes in clutch, and Geek fam have won another neutral objective battle.
Oh, what a play, and Naomi now might be caught here. Take a look at the pressure that Geek fam is building. Again, RRQ, they're with this composition. Sure, at late game they have Irithel, they have Cecilian, but they need to weather this early game presence. Find Geek fam again, 2,000 gold in 5 minutes, Arashi.
Yeah, and they're still not going away, but now Nile gets jumped on. He is going to get a counter though.
The Mortal Coil gets him out and gets him a kill. He jumps out as well. Dyron, unable to chase him down, gets a good stack on him, but it's not enough to take him down. Nile, whoa. That was a risky move, but he knows he has a boy. Meanwhile, Luke really taking a page out of Iran's book.
Seems like day 1, he did it as well. Yesterday, Luke controlling the waves, manipulating it very cleanly, and he is going to replicate it today again. Now Geek fam in full control, 3,000 goal lead, and it seems like RRQ 4 now has no answer. Is this the end though?
The end?
For RRQ.
It's 6 minutes, man. You gotta give it some time to scale. Naomi, though, gonna get jumped on right here. This is the problem. They just can't really match up to the pressure, especially from Luke on that Lapu Lapu. He provides so much more damage and crowd control directly compared to Dyron, who is just a bit more aggression focused. But now Luke goes again with the Bravest Fighter. RRQ can counter, but they might just let go of this orange ball.
They have to. They burnt out a heavy crossbow. Much more of a nuisance compared to that Bravest Fighter that Luke just uses to bait that out. And RRQ will have to just, again, yes, concede the orange buff. 8 seconds, counting for the turtle.
And again, here, 7 minutes in, it's very, very shaky here forward side of RRQ. Last turtle has spawned, and with the Sakai, sure they can contest, but is it worth it if they lose the fight?
I don't think it's worth losing multiple members, and I think RRQ understands that. They're just waiting for the right situation right here, but we'll have to see, man. Fersic now gets jumped on.
Fersic now going to be stunned up. That's the bravest fighter. Already used up, and GEEK fam, just take it. My God, the macro play here from them is they just completely sweep RRQ out. You can call GEEK fam the broom.
Very great. Yeah, I mean, that's a sweep here. 2-1 turtle-wise here, Arashi. And RRQ, what's their play here? They have Kaja that can switch you up, but Kaja jumped on.
What? Naomi! He has, from flying high in game number 1 and game 2, he's been neutralized completely. RRQ are lost.
Whoa. Tyler here trying to make something happen, but they're going to rely on Lemon in the late game, but look at his play!
Minion Fury to the back, now it's the heavy spin to try to counter it, but Dyron is still in the front, isolated, down another 3-man knockup, but it might be too far ahead.
My God.
The Cycling Claws finds them, Luke jumps to the bravest fighter, Luke, what an absolute menace, but it's shut down instantly by the divine judgment of Naomi.
That's a 2-for-1. That's a win for RRQ. Desperate win that they need. They find it. Though, destruction in the mid lane looks, yeah, it's going to go down.
GEEK fam still definitely going as aggressive as possible. But RRQ, what a great call by them to try and bring the fight to GEEK fam when they know that they have a turret on their side, outputting extra bits of damage that can equalize that goal disparity. We saw earlier a bit of a stat, Lemon standing on 130-ish stacks more or less. Definitely not ideal, but he is stacking, and he will be a problem the longer the game goes. But later on, Luke, Nile, and Beloyski, everyone can dive in, and there's a hard guard to ensure that Lemon will not have any space at all to deal the damage with the bad impacts.
So, looking at the items as well here, Rashi, right? It seems like it's a hybrid build for Martis. There's a Hunter Strike, but then there's a Blade Armor as well. So, going up against Irithel, close combat, Irithel will take some damage when she basic attacks. And taking a look at the situation, I feel like RRQ, they will not contest the First Lord. Do you think it's the wisest move? That's the wiser move.
Absolutely, man. Now they get a bit more of an objective. They equalize in the structural differences, more pressure later on. And Luke is just running. What is that?
That's a Chad right there. Walks up without a care in the world. Same thing goes for Beloy though. He's been doing that Chad maneuver all across game 1 even. Walking up to the enemy jungle, no problem.
RRQ, they can really defend well due to the Sicilian. They just have to be careful about a big dive. Of course, Naomi can try and stop that, but and the heavy spin is also a concern. So, you know, GEEK fam, after that, a bit of a failure in the turret dive, will be a bit more careful in how they want to execute that.
GEEK fam, they're very in control. All 3 lanes pushed. And RRQ, they will sacrifice all their inners here, it seems like, right? They will just defend their base turrets. Take a look at the Sicilian here. Oh, the stacks 175 already. 10 minutes in.
All right, is that a lot, Arashi, for the 10 minute of the game? Lemon hasn't really been given a lot of, space to farm.
I wouldn't say it's a lot, but it's decent, right? It could be way, way worse, and now Fersic gets jumped on, but I think the threat of the Lemon damage now is forcing GEEK fam away.
Beautiful clear, though. The Lord only taken a tier 2. It is only the first Lord, so if GEEK fam can take or get rid of all the tier 2 turrets, it's still absolute value for them. It seems like they're focusing more on that top side. Luke already, very aggressive maneuvers. Minions Fury coming down, not with a flicker this time around. A good disengage from both GEEK and RRQ, but Luke now jumps in, looks forward to pick, but now gets brought back to the team with the bravest fighter and a flicker. He gets out even of a heavy spin, and RRQ are able to defend.
Very good pressure there by Luke. Almost paid a price, but it seems like with that flicker, he's A-okay. GEEK fam now looking for that inner. And again, as predicted, the inner will be sacrificed. RRQ, they will just hold off here. But it seems like the mid lane turret still stands here, so it's just okay for both. But then again, late game, do you heavily favor the side of RRQ, or do you think GEEK Fam can grab it?
I feel like I gotta give it to RRQ. Sicilian in the late game with stacks, an Aerithel that's a lot more dynamic. A Marcus that falls off technically, and as Miko was mentioning, no real big source of magic damage. If RRQ starts stacking those armor items, both Naomi and Fersik could be a lot tankier here, as Fersik finally able to get something out of his own jungle. It's still a work in progress, but RRQ, they're making it work.
Flicker out, and a hard guard ready. Beloyskian gets out with just a flicker. Meanwhile, RRQ do not use any resources in battle spells, just one of that Divine Judgment.
2 healers, right? That's the problem when you're facing low-key 2 healers. You got Angela, you got also Minotaur that can give HP to your composition. Now let's see here, RRQ, how do they solve this problem here? Second Lord, enhance 1, mind you. Yeah, RRQ, do they have enough firepower to contest? I don't think so.
They might have to give it again, man. And Fersik is still looking for an opening, though. Takes in the dash, but nope, Niall just picks it up for free. GEEK Fam with their second Lord in this game. Still absolute domination from them. 8,000 gold lead. RRQ forced back once again under their turret. Naomi's the only one who can make that game-changing play.
So to see, man, purple buff being targeted by GEEK. RRQ, they're in the area, but they might not go for something too decisive.
Oh, Bravest Fighter. Oh, connecting onto Naomi, who's forced to flicker now. That's a massive battle spell. Game-changing plays with the Divine Judgment, now neutralized by that flicker taken away.
9,000 gold lead with this sort of push. Now is the question, RRQ, do they have enough firepower? Oh my god, a boy?
Skylar finds a 1v1, a boy. Gets some healing right now. Does he get saved? No, he does not. That's Skylar with a beautiful pick in that bottom lane. Chidera forces a flicker out right now. Fersik in the midst of it all. Gonna be knocked up right now as Chidera finds the kill. Luke with the Bravest Fighter. Naomi in the back. He's looking for a flank. Dyron able to zone Luke away as he flickers out to safety. That's a turret taken down by the Black Dragon form. Gets popped in. Dyron is lurking. Dyron is pouncing in. Dyron goes in on the Chidera. Niall buys the immortality. Now another furious dive as Niall's able to escape, but Chidera gets pulled back by the Divine Judgment. And Skylar takes him out.
1 moment is all it takes for RRQ to find the equalizer. Sure, economy-wise, not just yet. Map control-wise, not just yet. But I'm talking about momentum here, Rashi.
Oh, the recalls from Dyron as well. I don't know if they could have played out more perfectly for RRQ. Getting the pick onto the Angela. Winning the fight for only a base turret. They equalize the 2k gold lead. They get the turret, lowering it down to 5. RRQ now, this is the late game. 15 minutes is the general time we consider late game, and RRQ has weathered the storm enough that now it's on GEEK Fam. Of course, the same problem still persists. RRQ can't really start a decisive fight, but they can definitely end it.
Let's see here with the momentum. Loki swings to the side of RRQ a little. But yeah, with the lead that was already built, established by GEEK Fam, it seems like map-wise, it's still GEEK Fam's to win this game. Sure, the economy cuts to half here, Arashi. It was a 10,000 gold lead, now just down to almost 6. Let's see here, what will GEEK Fam find to swing the momentum to their side again? Item-wise, Eberthel is ahead gold-wise.
He's ahead, but not by much. And I don't know if I agree with the Great Dragon Spear. It does help you kite back against Niall, against Luke, but at the same time, you need to do a lot more damage. But maybe RRQ thinks that without any magic damage, right, they can just outlast RRQ, and that is definitely still a legitimate way. The big factor here that GEEK Fam has been using, Goni, to get all this macro pressure is they're just abusing the Angela global presence. But earlier, it was punished, and Naomi, that could have been very dangerous. It seems like RRQ are in the right spot. It's going to be a bit of a trap here for GEEK, though. They are trying to make sure that they can get whoever tries to clear that bot side.
A signature BBB play would be great for GEEK Fam. They need that big brain Beloy play, like we saw yesterday against Dewa, that Ruby Conceal flicker to find, I think, either Lemon or Skylar. These 2 pillars for RRQ.
See here, GEEK Fam looking to gain more or control more ground in that turtle or Lord Pit. RRQ, they want to contest.
Minus Fury coming down, and it's going to be Beloyski who secures the Lord. Now Beloyski taken back right there with the Bad Impact and the Sanguine Claws. Versik bringing Chidera back with a heavy impact, and now it's Chidera with the win of nature, but he gets petrified. Locked down! RRQ going at it. Now Nile walking forward with a Raven Spider from Luke as well. Skylar buys the immortality, but Nile's able to take it out just like that. That's a Sanguine Claw, but it's a shutdown for Nile. Luke against the world. Now in the front, getting the healing. Versik's immortality has been popped. Naomi very low, but marches forward. It's a boy on the healer, getting a kill on Naomi.
It's a 3-for-2 and an action-packed fight earlier on RRQ. They lost the Lord, and take a look at Iron. Let's see here. Luke and the hard guard. Will it be enough?
He's tying him up. Dyra's walking back, trying to get the passive stack. Furious dive, but it's a Bravest Spider and a boy!
Oh my lord. Dyran here with the distraction. Lord who is already in the base of RRQ. And there you go. They will take care of it. But the base turret here. Oh, good defense.
Wow.
Great defense. Versik holding off the minions just outside of the zone.
Intelligent plays by both teams. But holy moly, we said no mage. A boy says, are you sure about that?
You must not know me. He is the mage for GEEK Fam right here, and 357 stacks. If GEEK Fam don't find Lemon in these fights, I think that is the main win condition here. Lemon, and eyes need to be on Lemon. Earlier they were able to shut Skylar down, but doesn't matter. The bad impacts were a bit too much, but RRQ, they make the smart play on backing out there, knowing that the Lord was on the way. They have no issue delaying the game even longer, because that only means that Lemon gets stronger and stronger. So they went for the more conservative play, and now GEEK Fam, right? They are the ones that have a chance, technically, to go for a big brain Beloyski maneuver. But if they can't find it, it's dangerous. And trying to find it against Lemon, the experienced alien, it's going to be very, very difficult.
We usually expect BBB, Big Brain Beloy, but in that team fight, we saw BBB, Big Boy Beloy. He stole the Lord. He secured it for GEEK.
With the Minion Fury, man, and again, it seems like the setup here, will they commit to this? Let's see.
Luke, Bravest Fighter in, trying to bait out the heavy spin, I believe, but RRQ knows better than to use it here in this position.
Back to the point that I really want to point out, right? It's a positioning matchup here. Skylar positioned himself very effectively in comparison to Chidera. Chidera already here on his way toward his, already max items even, but his impact throughout the game is very, very hard to calculate because, I don't know, I feel like it's just a non-factor here. As a Bruno, mid-game, late-game even now, I don't see his impact.
It's short range, it's low mobility, and with RRQ having their eyes all on Chidera. Of course, Nile can do damage, Luke can as well, but the main DPS is definitely going to be Chidera. Compared to RRQ, they have both Lemon and Skylar. This is the problem with the composition, and GEEK Fam are paying the price, but you can never count them out, man. In the late game, something crazy is going to happen, you just know it. Question is it going to work? Is it going to end the game for GEEK Fam, or is it going to end the game for RRQ? As Dyran is forced on the top side, this could be the signal for GEEK Fam to begin.
Let's see here. It seems like the Lord is still controlled by GEEK Fam. Top lane neutralized by Yuzong. RRQ still hovering, looking for information, but Versik now shows. It seems like GEEK Fam still play.
Naomi, flicker forward, Divine Judgment, locking him down. The hard guard comes in. Nile with a Mortal Coil gets out. Luke. Oh, it's Luke with the Bravest Fighter onto the back. Skylar with nature. But Luke has done what he needs to. He's baited the team. Now it all comes down to the rest. Chidera moving back, getting some damage onto Dyran, but Versik is still there. He's still holding on to the heavy spin. 4 versus 5. GEEK Fam holding on. Chidera dealing the damage in the back line. It's Beloyski who jumps in with the Fury. Who gets it? It's Versik! Who secures it for RRQ? and they back away as fast as they engage.
Mission abort, RRQ gets the Lord and the fight. Luke goes down to 30, and now take a look at the economy. It's irrelevant, but RRQ shows that the qualities that they're online.
Man, let's take a look at the in-game equipment here by Dunya Games. Skylar definitely has all the penetration, still has the boots, but Lemon, he had a dominance ice, he switched it out for the Blood Wings. He is going for a decisive end right here. With the Lord, with the superior front to back long-range damage, this could be the end of it. RRQ.
How do they defend this?
They look to push. This may be the final push, let's see.
It's gonna involve Lord, 24,000 HP, and it has cracked the base turret wide open. Divine Judgment, logging Beloski down right now, forcing a defensive flicker. Niall holding on, not letting it charge in, but Beloy now loses the immortality. It's a full dive to the back, Siren! 3-man Petrify! Into a furious dive! RRQ and comeback from a 9,000 gold lead.
Match point secured for the Kings of Kings. As it is, unfortunately, GEEK fam losing again. 10,000